Welcome back. Well, as the fight against our corrupt government institutions marches on, our fight against the COVID pandemic is far from over. Now, folks, just because you may not have to wear a mask to work or school anymore and you weren't forced to get a vaccine to go to school or to your job where you live, a lot of people did. And there's also still tyrants out there imposing these absurd rules on other Americans. It's been revealed that Coast Guard cadets seeking religious exemptions from the military mandate were ordered to vacate the campus within 24 hours of receiving notification from the military. No other details. It's just a mess. And we've seen this happen throughout all the branches. Air Force, Marine, Navy, Army, you name it. And as cadets are getting booted from the Coast Guard, the same is happening to athletes here at home and abroad. Don't get me started on all the sudden deaths. That's the vaccine. We're just talking about lockdowns and ridiculous orders. It seems strange to me, though, that the U.S. government is barring unvaccinated non-citizens like, you know this guy, tennis star Novak Djokovic. He can't come in and play. One of the best in the world, and he can't come play. The fact that our government just rolls out the welcome mat for millions of illegal immigrants who are not only not vaccinated, but they're allowed in time and time again with active COVID. That's a fact. Look it up. We've had people on this program report that. But Djokovic, he can't participate in the 2022 U.S. Open. It's underway right now. Nope, can't come into the U.S. because he doesn't have a vax. Again, the former #1 in the world can't come play. But you can run across that border, no vax, full of COVID, and God knows what else. The hypocrisy is just astounding to me. I want you to listen to this exchange between a reporter and the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, on, again, this whole situation between the migrants and Djokovic. Watch this.
So they're two different things. They're two different things.
But so how is it two different things? Somebody unvaccinated comes over on a plane. You say that's not okay. Somebody walks into Texas or Arizona unvaccinated. They're allowed to stay. Why?
But that's not how it works. Like we actually no.
I know that that's not what you guys want to happen, but that is what is happening.
But that's not. It's not like somebody walks over and that's not how.
Exactly what's happening.
That's what's happening. Stop lying to the American people. Your soul's going to burn in hell, girl. I'm sorry. You're lying. You're covering for Joe and this corrupt, evil administration. That's what's happening. How many videos do we have to show you of thousands of illegals walking into this country? And yes, they have COVID. They don't have a vaccine. They're in countries that don't even have a damn vaccine. So stop your lying. So tired of it. Of course, big tech and the government, they're all in bed together just covering up for this crap. So this next story is really surprising to me, that one of these social media giants is actually reversing some of their COVID BS rules. YouTube now changing their rules regarding statements made on their platform about masks and the vaccine. Whoa! Before, they would ban any user who said, you don't need a mask, maybe you shouldn't take the vaccine, it's questionable, there's side effects. But now they're changing their tune. They've removed their rule barring any claims. Wow. Now, they didn't make this decision public, but someone working there put it out online. So again, if you're going to use YouTube, I guess now you can say, hey, mask didn't work. Duh. The vaccine's got side effects. Duh. It's taken 2 years for people to wake the hell up. I'm not sure why they had a change of heart there at YouTube. But speaking of getting canceled in the past for speaking out about COVID, remember how the woke mob tried to get rid of Joe Rogan? Just because he had posted that he had COVID a few months back, and instead of getting the vaccine, he used therapeutics like I did and was cured real quick like? The mob wanted Spotify to kick him off the air. It never happened, thank goodness. So recently, Rogan had Aaron Rodgers, NFL great Aaron Rodgers, in the program. And they were discussing the whole COVID and the lockdown and whatever. And what Joe said to me was pretty telling. Watch this.
No one who is alive today had ever experienced a true pandemic. And I'm hoping that now that this is over, people are going to recognize that some serious errors were made and not repeat those. That's the best you can get out of it.
So what do you tell those people?
Vote Republican.
Wow. How about that? Vote Republican, Joe Rogan says. And he considers himself an independent libertarian guy. Joining us now to discuss all things new COVID-related, a doctor who over the past 2 years had the guts to speak up and out about the masks, the forced vaccines, and especially the damage done to our children with all these lockdowns and mandates. He's a friend to this show and this network, cardiologist, and the host of the McCullough Report, Dr. Peter McCullough. Doc, welcome back. Thanks for coming on the program. Appreciate you.
Yeah, Dan, thanks for having me. Seeing the smoke being blown in the Rogan studio made me glad that when I went on the Joe Rogan Experience, I told Joe, no alcohol, no smoking. Let's keep it clean because I'm a cardiologist. And I still set all the records. I'm still the Joe Rogan record holder, bringing truth to America and the world through his program.
Yeah, what did you make of that? I know, Doc, that you stay very apolitical, and good for you. You like to follow the science, unlike other doctors during this COVID pandemic. But when you heard Joe Rogan, again, a professed libertarian who says he hates both sides, kind of like me, say, how do we make sure we never have another COVID pandemic? And what's he tell Aaron Rodgers? Vote Republican. That's pretty telling.
I agree. I'm a political moderate, but for the last two meetings, I've spoken at CPAC, a conservative political action committee. And when we look at who's taken leadership on COVID-19, it has been the Republicans, Senator Ron Johnson, Senator Rand Paul, Louis Gohmert in the House, Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, Arizona Senator Wendy Rogers, now a gubernatorial candidate for Arizona, Kari Lake, Scott Jensen up in Minnesota. They're all Republicans. But they've taken an interest in civil liberties. They've been defenders of freedom, of choice, and making rational decisions. So I think Rogan's calling this one right.
Let's talk about some of this new stuff because you were so outspoken about it with the kids. I see Philadelphia schools making them wear masks for 10 days returning. I see vax mandates now from Muriel Bowser in Washington, D.C. on all the kids. I mean, masks and vaccines 2 years later. I thought the other day CDC said treat everybody the same, vaxxed or unvaxxed. I thought we had a report months ago, masks didn't work, lockdowns didn't save lives. Why are people still doing this crap, Doc?
Most of the school systems actually reference the CDC, and they obviously haven't caught up with the August 11th CDC updates, where the CDC says there's no difference from a public health perspective on someone who's fully vaccinated versus someone who has not taken a vaccine. So the schools need to drop the vaccine mandates immediately. Masking should only be personal choice according to the parent and the student. Should be no masking mandates. And return to normal. We're rounding the final curve, it looks like, on the BA5 outbreak. Cases are at a low. Hospitals are empty. We have better treatments. The emergency's been long over with, Dan, and we need to close the emergency, get back to normal.
Talk about your new book. I'm sure you discussed the 2-year pandemic and all the side effects that this nation, from our children to pregnant women. I mean, there's been so much with the vaccine, so much with the lockdowns and the masks. It has hurt this country immensely, and it will, I think, there's going to be side effects for decades from all this stuff. You cover that in the book?
Yeah, Dan, I teamed up and for a year worked on a book with best-selling author John Leake, true crime author. The title of the book is Courage to Face COVID-19, Preventing Hospitalizations and Deaths While Battling the Biopharmaceutical Complex. It's been on about 90 days on Amazon, #1 in viral diseases, communicable diseases, true crime. The other day it hit number 56 out of 2 million books on Amazon. It's the story, the factual story of what happened on the advent and the development of and then the suppression of early treatment to prevent hospitalizations and deaths. And indeed, how those who were blocking treatment to patients, the reason why they were doing so is to advance the vaccines. It's all there in the book, 300 pages, over 300 references.
A lot of people need to answer and pay for what they did over these 2 years. I don't know if they ever will, but Doc, Peter McCullough, thank you for your voice. You and only a handful of others over the last 2 years gave us that guiding light to believe we didn't have to roll up our sleeves if we didn't want to. We didn't need to lock down, and God forbid what we did to our kids. So again, Dr. Peter McCullough, you guys check out the book. Doc, as always, thank you so much. God bless you. Take care.